Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having spectacular Thursdays wherever you may be across the country. Want to say right off the top here, if you are in Nashville, we are going to have a live Outkick the Show tomorrow at 6 o'clock Central Time, 411 Broadway, Downtown Sporting Club, the bar that I am a part owner of, on the rooftop. If you are a VIP, an Outkick VIP, you drink for free, but it is open to everyone, all right? Everyone is invited to come. It's an interesting test to see whether using the new bar downtown in Nashville to do events might be a fun thing to do. We will be on the rooftop. It should be a fantastic evening in Nashville. We'll be there from 6 to 8. You can come drink. You can start your Friday night with us. Again, a live show. I don't believe that we will stream it or anything else, so it's just a live show for the people that are there. Again, Nashville, 411 Broadway, 6 o'clock Central, tomorrow on Friday. Tomorrow on Friday, downtown Nashville, Downtown Sporting Club. All right, we got a lot to get to. Adrian Peterson is broke. Taylor Lewan fails a PED test. He's out for 4 games, he says. The Mueller testimony happened yesterday. What were our thoughts? Tulsi Gabbard came on Outkick on Tuesday and was absolutely outstanding. Zeke Elliott reportedly going to hold out from the Dallas Cowboys. He's supposed to report tomorrow. Zion Williamson gets the most lucrative deal in the history of basketball shoes. And Dan LeBatard drama at ESPN appears to have finally panned out and been resolved, at least for now. But again, come to our live show in Nashville, and if you haven't been listening to the Outkick the Coverage brand new podcast that I'm doing called Wins and Losses, it is podcast exclusive. Kirk Herbstreit is our guest. Long form conversation is the design for those shows. Feedback has been phenomenal on them. I think you will really enjoy Kirk Herbstreit sitting down and talking with me. If you guys have not listened to the podcast and you are watching or listening to this show, what are you doing with your life? I guarantee you, you will enjoy them. Kirk Herbstreit was awesome this week talking all of the things surrounding college football and how he ended up on game day. All right, let's start here. Adrian Peterson is being sued because he has somehow, and I have no idea how it's remotely possible, gone broke despite making $100 million in salary payments over the past 12 years in the NFL. Now, that does not include what's probably at least $20 million or more in endorsement and other related income over the course of those 12 years. And people are saying, oh, what are you talking about? That's like $1.5 million a year on average. Easily, he was making $1.5 million plus. $20 million might even be low. He might have made $40 million in endorsements in addition to the $100 million that he made. Do you know how improbably difficult it is to make that much money and find a way to lose $100 million? It is unprecedented to have that level of economic failure in your life. All right, here's something that I think needs to happen. If you are an athlete, you need to, and this is my advice for everybody out there, buy S&P 500 funds. Don't talk to anybody else, all right? If you don't have the ability to pick a solid financial advisor and know your uncle who runs a barbershop is probably not going to be a great financial advisor when it comes to making $100 million. Know your grandma who ran a church baking business, probably not going to be the best financial advisor for you when it comes to making $100 million, all right? Your mom and your dad probably, unless they are financial analysts of some sort, probably not the best financial advisor for you to have either. I'm telling you, this keeps happening, and it blows my mind that it's possible, primarily because it's so difficult to even comprehend how you can spend that much money and not be creating at least some form of assets, right? Think about this. Over the last 12 years, if Adrian Peterson had just gone wild and bought like 6 homes, it's unlikely that those homes would have declined in value so much that you wouldn't still have a huge asset value on them, right? By and large, over the last 12 years, if you bought real estate, it's not like real estate has lost all of its value. When I say you buy assets that retain value, even if you spend money like a drunken sailor, and I think it's fair to say that Adrian Peterson did that. Taxes guy can get all into it. We don't know what his full income was, but it's possible that he was spending $20,000 or $25,000 a day, every day, for the last 12 years. That's almost impossible to even quantify. Assuming he was sleeping for 8 hours a day, that's spending $1,500 every hour for every waking hour that he has been alive for his entire life. That is damn near impossible to even think about it happening, all right? That is virtually improbable to even contemplate that even happening, all right? You start to break that down, it is absolutely unbelievable. It's almost unheard of for Adrian Peterson to find a way to spend $100 million like he did. It's absolutely incredible to even contemplate that he could be that bad at doing this. But he's lost a ton of money, and this keeps happening, and I don't even know what the solution is. I think it looks bad for the NFL. I think they're now providing a lot of advisors. It's just a bad decision. And we're not talking about a guy who has founded some huge company and the company has gone under. We're talking about just buying assets and being unable to continue in any way possible. Again, if you just buy real estate over the last 12 years, it would be virtually impossible to lose as much money as they did. It's a complete collapse in general, all right? And people say, oh, well, he's got a lot of kids. He's got a divorced wife. $100 million, all right? $100 million. We're like, well, he had too many kids. Do you know how many kids you would have to go bankrupt making $100 million? It ain't that expensive, all right? It's expensive. It ain't $100 million expensive. People are like, well, he's had multiple wives. So? Oh, we're talking $100 million. I'm not saying he wasted 70% of his money. I'm not saying he wasted 80% of his money. I'm saying he lost all of it. That he has no assets left, and that he's managed to spend somewhere around $20,000 or $25,000 a day for 12 straight years. It's unbelievable to even comprehend. All right, Taylor Lewan has failed a PED test. A lot of people out there saying, oh, it's so brave of Taylor Lewan to take this on face-to-face, to address it face-to-face. Look, this is really dumb by Taylor Lewan. You want to draw all this attention to yourself. You want to talk trash. You want to be a focal point in the NFL. And you've known since May that you failed a drug test. Now, here's all I got to say about this. If I were making the salary that Taylor Lewan did, even making my salary, if I knew that I was going to be tested, there's no way I take any supplement that is anything other than directly provided to me by the team I play for. I got to tell you, it's pretty simple. If you take supplements, only take the supplements that are provided by your team, and do that if you want to. I mean, this is crazy to me that people are like, well, he got a bad sample. He got, the supplement that he was taking didn't have that banned substance in it, but maybe they got crisscrossed somehow. Don't go buy any supplement other than the ones that are provided by your team. If a doctor by the team gives you that supplement and it doesn't work, then that is on the team. But this is a strict liability offense. Even if you are completely innocent, I'm not going to believe you. Do you know why? Because of Lance Armstrong, because of Ryan Braun, because of Alex Rodriguez, because of Julian Edelman, because of any number of players out there that have said, oh, I don't know how this happened, and then ultimately been proven to have clearly been violating the terms of their collective bargaining agreements by using PEDs. Rafael Palmeiro testified before Congress he didn't do it. Roger Clemens testified before Congress he didn't do it. Now, the one shining light of grace here is that people don't seem at all to care about football players who use PEDs. Julian Edelman was suspended the first 4 games of the season last year. We didn't even remember that when he played great in the Super Bowl. Everybody was saying, oh, you know what? This guy looks like a Hall of Famer. We couldn't even hold PED use against Julian Edelman for one entire football season, because I think most people assume that all football players in some form or fashion are using PEDs, right? So the positive here, if you're Taylor Lewan, is you may cry, you may be upset, you may tell people you don't know how it happened. Nobody really cares. It's a big issue for the Titans because Marcus Mariota is in a contract year and he needs to stay healthy. And the one guy who is most important when you have a brittle quarterback is the left tackle. So now in the first 4 games of the season, teams are going to be teeing off on the absence of Taylor Lewan. It's probably the 4 most significant games of his entire career for Mariota when you think about all the money that he has at stake, and Taylor Lewan's not going to be there. Taylor Lewan, second highest paid offensive lineman in the entire NFL. This is a major issue for the Titans. I think they lose. It wouldn't stun me at all. Their first 4 games on the road against the Browns. Then they got the Colts, who they haven't beaten with Andrew Luck ever. I said ever. Then I believe you got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, who are going to be looking to prove that they're a contender again now that they have Nick Foles. And I think they finish up. Who's the 4th game? I don't know. They got another 4th game that's not very easy either. So I think there's a good chance that the Titans lose all 4 of their first 4 games without Lewan. It's a bad loss. It's a bad deal for the Titans. The Falcons is their 4th game. I think there's a decent chance Titans lose all 4 of those. 3 of them are on the road. Makes it even more important for the offensive line to have great communication because it's going to be loud when you're trying to snap the football. I don't like this situation at all for the Titans. People are like, oh, you got to believe Taylor Lewan. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have to believe in him because I haven't believed at this point any athlete who tests positive for PEDs says, I don't know how it happened. And then inevitably, so many of them end up being completely and totally guilty. If you use a PED, that's on you. It's strict liability. Nobody else has any reason to be upset about it. It's just your fault. You have to be responsible for it. That's it. So, yeah, and Taylor Lewan came after me recently. They invited me to come on the show. I would go on his show and say the same thing. I don't believe you. It's not because I'm taking a shot at Taylor Lewan straight up. It's because I don't believe any athlete, given the circumstances that have existed for the last decade or so. Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa claimed he didn't speak English. That's how much of liars we got when they were put on the stand. He didn't speak English well enough to answer the questions. Look, I assume that all athletes are using PEDs, particularly when they actually get caught. All right, I don't know about you guys. Did you see Tulsi or listen to Tulsi Gabbard on Outkick on Tuesday? If you saw Tulsi's interview or listened to it, say yes in the comments on either Facebook or Periscope. If you did not, then you are wasting your life, and I don't know why you're spending all this time out here watching me. She was fantastic. It turned into a major national story. Turned into a story, lead story on CNN, lead story on Fox News, lead story on USA Today. Tulsi Gabbard came on our show. She was fantastic, I thought. 20 minutes with her, and she was great. Whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, I thought she was outstanding. Credit to her people for reaching out and requesting the opportunity to come on. Now, irony of all ironies, my good friends at CNN refused to credit Outkick or me. They buried a reference to Fox Sports Radio in their article, but it had to drive them crazy to have your boy driving the political cycle for the day. Tulsi Gabbard was outstanding. I'm curious to see what happens in the debate next week up in Detroit. She was great. Tulsi was phenomenal. Credit to her. If you haven't listened to it, go Google my name combined with her name, Clay Travis, Tulsi Gabbard, and you will be able to hear from her. She's a middle-of-the-road, straight and honest and logical thinker with us, combating identity politics, thinks it's crazy that we're fighting wars all over the place. There are a lot of things that she said that I personally agree with. I think you guys will enjoy going to listen to her. All right, yesterday we had the Mueller testimony. I was on the golf course. Credit to everybody who came out to help St. Jude down in Memphis. They do an incredible job, St. Jude does, for kids all over the country, giving them free treatment from some of the best doctors in the world. Props to St. Jude. It was an emotional couple of days that I spent down in Memphis, and I give all of the credit in the world to everybody affiliated with St. Jude in Memphis. It was an awesome experience, awesome opportunity. I was awful on the golf course. I would like to humbly apologize to everybody that was a part of my group. We had a good time, but I was awful on the golf course. I watched the Mueller report. The Mueller report testimony. Mueller did not do anything to advance the cause of impeachment. I told you guys after the Mueller report came out, impeachment's not happening. Democrats have to give up this Hail Mary pass that somebody is going to come save them from Donald Trump. The only way Donald Trump is going to exit the presidency is if he is beaten in 2020 or if he has to, something bad happens to him, right? Like something physically, ailment, health-wise. You're not going to get some crazy Hail Mary. Impeachment is not going to work. Even if he was impeached by the House, he was never going to be removed from office by the Republicans in the Senate. This has been a ludicrous obsession of the Democrats. Instead of worrying about Trump, they should be focusing on trying to get elected in 2020. And instead of that, he is slowly driving them insane. The best opportunity and certainly the best asset that Donald Trump has is he seems to drive his opponents crazier than he is. I don't claim to understand how that is, but Trump derangement syndrome is real. In a time when the Democrats would win if they could just not be crazy, they seem unable to avoid becoming crazier than Trump. I can't explain it. I can't even begin to understand how it's possible that Trump drives his opponents crazier than he does, but somehow it happens. Time after time after time, Trump drives his opponents crazy, and Democrats keep throwing up these Hail Marys expecting that they're going to connect. The Mueller testimony did not. Impeachment is over, all right? Impeachment is dead. It is now the end of July, all right? We're going to go into August, go into the holiday season before long, and then we'll be into 2020. And there's no way you're going to be able to impeach a sitting president in the year of an election. Everybody's going to say, why in the world would we spend time trying to impeach the president when there is an election in November of 2020? It's just a little over a year away. If you think he's unfit for office, beat him. Beat him. That's what you're going to have to do in 2020. We will see what ends up happening. But I watched the highlights of the Mueller report. Again, I was raising money for St. Jude. I was out on the golf course, the testimony. But what I watched, and I didn't go sit and watch all 5 hours, but what I watched confirmed what I expected to see, which was impeachment is dead. There's nothing coming out of this at all. All right? Zeke Elliott is holding out. Dallas Cowboys officially reporting tomorrow. Reports are that Zeke is not going to be there. Here's what needs to happen if you're the Dallas Cowboys. Call his bluff. Jerry Jones hopes that he has got another trio that can be the equal of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. He'd like to believe that Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper are the new big three for the Dallas Cowboys. The truth of the matter is this. You cannot highly pay a running back in today's NFL. Look at what happened. Le'Veon Bell sets out. James Conner comes in for Pittsburgh Steelers, puts up similar numbers. You've got a situation where Todd Gurley may well have arthritis in his knee. He's not healthy. They bring in C.J. Anderson literally from out of the league, and he comes in and he runs at an equal level to Todd Gurley and performs roughly at the same level, and that guy looks like a roly-poly. He looks like the latter coming of Jerome Bettis, except not as big. Big, chubby dude. I am telling you, Jerry Jones cannot fall victim to overpaying for Ezekiel Elliott. As if that were not the case, that the running back generally doesn't deserve the money that he's going to get. Ezekiel Elliott has also been unreliable off the field. Whether it's the stupid incident shoving the security guard, whether it was pulling the girl's top down, whether it was the investigation into domestic violence, which I believe got Ezekiel Elliott 6 unjustified games of suspension, you cannot invest big money in an NFL running back in 2019. Ezekiel Elliott has no power here. I think the Dallas Cowboys should call his bluff. If he is insisting on big money, try to find a team dumber than you out there who would give up something for him asset-wise. You can't do it. You won't do it. The bigger question for the Cowboys is whether or not Dak Prescott is their quarterback of the future. I still don't know the answer to that, but I do know this. At least if you overpay for a quarterback, you can still be in the running to contend for a championship 5 years from now. If you overpay for a running back, you won't be, period. Zion gets the biggest shoe deal in the history of NBA rookies. Now, inflation-adjusted guy can say LeBron got a bigger deal, but he signs with the Jump brand, Michael Jordan's arm of Nike. I think it's a huge gamble. I think it's a huge gamble for this reason. I am not of the belief that really Zion's game so far is going to translate immediately to the NBA. He can't shoot and he can't create his own shot. Those are bad combos. He's an undersized power forward. That's also a bad combo. He is an incredible athlete, but the NBA is filled with incredible athletes. Ezekiel Elliott's contract, in my opinion, I believe it's 5 years, $75 million is the reports. That is way too much money. Having said that, I think Nike also simultaneously had to pay too much money because his shoe blew up when he was playing for Duke. Probably the best thing that happened to Ezekiel Elliott's negotiating power, because if he had signed with Adidas, if he had signed with Under Armour, if he had signed with Reebok or whoever else is out there that wants to spend money, New Balance, Puma, whatever brands are, Fila, do they still exist? I don't know. If he had signed with another shoe, they would have 1 billion%. They would have 1 billion% run ads making fun of the fact that Nikes are unreliable. So Zion was not worth, in my opinion, the money, but he simultaneously had to get the money from Nike. I think he had Nike between a rock and a hard place. They had to pay him big money. I'm just not sold on Zion being overweight, not being able to shoot that well from outside, and not being able to create his own basket in a league where being able to shoot and create your own shot ultimately makes you a star. Right now, Zion can do neither. I'm not of the belief that he's going to immediately be a difference maker. He has a lot of work to do. He's only 19, but he's overweight, and he can't make outside shots or create his own shots. I think there's going to be a lot of work he can do before he becomes a stud. Finally, LeBatard, Dan LeBatard, is going to remain with ESPN after meeting with Jimmy Pitaro. And there's a couple of details here that I think are interesting about that decision. First of all, this took a week, all right? This took a week for Dan LeBatard to go officially meet with Jimmy Pitaro. That's kind of wild to me. But ESPN finally put out their data. You know, I wrote a book called Republicans Buy Sneakers Too, and the argument was that if you are a big brand attempting to appeal to everyone, which ESPN undoubtedly is, that it was a very bad decision to get political in any way. And Jimmy Pitaro, to his credit, came in at ESPN and he said, one of the flaws that our data has shown us, that our analytics have shown us, is that people do not want in any way for there to be a situation where there is a situation created where we are a political network. And I thought this was interesting. I'm going to zoom down really quickly and give you these stats. I've been telling you for a long time that this was the truth. For those wondering about ESPN's politics data, per the network, market research says 74% of fans don't want to hear about politics on ESPN. That includes avid fans, 85%, Republicans, 84%, and Democrats, 69%. So all of the masses do not care. This is a great example, I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Republicans buy sneakers too, but also that social media is not an accurate reflection of real life. You can't use Twitter as the real approximation of the world. It is a funhouse mirror at a carnival. It is fun to be entertained by, and it's great for information, but it is not the real world. Love all you guys. Come see me live tomorrow, 6 o'clock at the Downtown Sporting Club in Nashville. Come hang with me. Downtown Sporting Club in Nashville, 6 o'clock, 411 Broadway. I got to run around and do a bunch of things now. Talk to you tomorrow on the final show of the week. My name is Clay Travis. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. I will see you guys. Bye. Love you. Thank you, Facebook. See y'all.